First and foremost, bro, again, I just want to thank you for being present, being involved in what's now being called Talking Slop. And just for you and for the listeners, Talking Slop, S-L-O-P, that's the slop. That's just a spin-off of Talking Shit. Keep it real, man. And this has come out of a few conversations where I talk shit. You know, I acknowledge I talk shit, and I'm around a lot of people who talk shit. But what I've discovered, bro, is when we talk shit, some divine things come out of that sometimes, you know, some inspirations. You know, you're just having these mundane conversations, and out of it, you get downloads, you get breakthroughs, you know, and, you know, you start building. And like I said, next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and you're like, how the hell did we, you know, I just pop round to give you some sugar. And now we're just, you know, we're going in. And I want to move this, you know, this talk, this podcast and all that in that kind of direction. And the reason why I coined it slop, you know, rather than shit, because I don't have a work problem with dealing with the shit. And there's a reason for that. Simply outside of talking shit, on the other side, I realize and understand and work with shit a lot in my lifestyle, in my background, and I understand the role that shit plays. And because a lot of times shit gets a hard time, I want to also explore that within the shit is divinity. So perfect example, you know, like we all got shit going on in our lives, and it takes us to go through our shit to come out the other end to see the light, to get some clarity. At the same time, as a horticulturalist, I'm aware that, you know, shit makes the world go round. You know, we feed the soul shit, you know, the worst, the way, you understand, the worst of what we'll call, you know, of these organisms that, you know, we process and that comes out of us, and, you know, we want to get rid of it. We say it smells, it's nasty, it's vile. But at the same time, Mother Nature, all things that we depend on wouldn't be functioning without this shit. So it's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know, just like consider everything is everything. So that's partly what this is all about. So with that,
cue the Lauryn Hill, everything is everything. Everything. Yeah.
Most definitely. And we're going to get into that, some music and stuff, because what this is about also is that, you know, I'm getting to know you, bro, over the months now. You know, I've interviewed some people I've known for a few weeks, some people I've never met before, as well as people that I've come up in this thing with, you know, who I've known since a teenager. But whoever I've been speaking with, you know, as we know, we got our layers, we got our barriers, we got our armor, we've got our archetype that manifest and come through us in different ways. And when you're with people, you get to see aspects of them, but you never know nobody. Just about know who you are, you know, discovering self. But what this is also about is, you know, not going over I don't know how many interviews you've done in your life, how many podcasts you've been on, how many TV shows you've been host, you know, you've been interviewed on. And what I don't want to do is just do the same old. You know, so it's like, we're going to cover who you are, we know what you're about, but we're just going to delve and roll and talk slot basically, bro. And out of that, because I know who you are so far and what you bring to the table, I know some divine things can come out of me and you talking shit that has happened before. So that's the premise of what it's all about and what I'm doing. And I just want to open it up for you to share who you are and why you're here, what you're getting out of this, and then we're just going to start rocking and rolling,
man. Yeah, you letting me start it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not that interested at all. You know what I mean? That's a start. Let y'all know that. I'm a regular guy. I have certain passions and interests. You know what I mean? I go by Sematawi, RebuYogi. Thanks. I come to shake up this world. You know what I mean? Destroy the yoga world. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
And birth a new one.
Jeez.
Birth a whole new paradigm. You know what I mean? Enter in the Kepara. Everything that you think I am not. All right. So yeah, that's my start.
Oh, respect. And you started bringing the fire already, bro. So and I've already pulled out a pen because like I want to make little some bullet point because there's Kefra. You just sort of like just keywords already. And we're gonna go there. But thank you, bro. So let me just piggyback off, you know, off what you shared there. So you know, let me just look at how I come across you, and that was basically the social media world. You know, that was the initial direct communication that I had with you, but communicating with you, you know, I'm on social media doing my thing, spreading the spores, as I said, you know, out and about doing my thing. just like this podcast, just like in life, I'm moved by and engage with people that inspire me. I'm motivated by. As much as I teach, I know there's people out there that are going to teach and share with me. I've had many teachers from my mother all the way through school and the elders, you know, of the knowledge, you know, the knowledge keepers. And so I'm out there just doing my Googling and stuff, man. And what I do know is there's, you know, part and parcel of my life, what I call the boomerang effect. You know, and that's just, you know, information, knowledge that whether I'm really into it or really not, when it just keeps coming back round, keeps coming back round, keeps coming back round, I can't keep avoiding. I'm like, all right, thought I dealt with this, but obviously I've got to deal with it again. Maybe I've got to go over the same things. Maybe there's new lessons to learn, you know, and all the rest of it. And in the last year to year and a half, yoga has been one of those things, you know. And that's why I was out doing my thing, just online, just checking things out in general. You know, in the last year and a half, or last 2 years in particular, I've kind of revisited my yoga journey, you know, and it's been re-exploring what that's all about and what does that mean to me. And ironically, a few days ago, I interviewed someone else who, you know, delves into the yoga sciences, and just explained to them that when I first was introduced to this, you know, which was like 18 years ago, was around 18, 19 years ago, my yoga journey first started, when I first put my feet in. And what I found at that time was that although I was inspired by, motivated, keen to start that journey, for some reason or another, I felt that the people who were presenting and teaching and sharing that knowledge and science with me just didn't have what it takes to engage Darren. You know, nothing against their teaching style and the way they went about it, but it just didn't engage me for multiple reasons, which I won't get into now. But fast forward 2018, 19, I'm back there again. And what's happening is there were people popping up around me that were yoga practitioners. But the way they approached it, I was like, this kind of looks and feels more like the kind of thing I was looking for back then. And there's a reason why it's coming up now. And I need to just look into this again. So that's how I'm doing my thing. And then your stuff kept on coming up. Boom, you know, boom. And amongst the a handful of few other things that just kept on resonating. Some of the old teachers that I was privy to, you line up, and you know the information, the algorithms line things up as they do. But your stuff kept on coming up. And why I've shared that story and got to where I'm at now, because images shape our reality. Pictures paint 1,000 words, and it was the imagery that I saw on your page, the image of you, how you appeared, how you presented yourself, and then as well as like the flyers and the imagery. I was like, there's something here that just resonates, man. And without going into all of the details, I know that within a very short space of time, we had somewhere or another. You had reached out to me, I had reached out to you, and it was for a very similar inspirations, you know, that we both was aware that we each had something that each of us could gain and learn from, and you know, the rest of it. And I think it's deeper than yoga. I think it's deeper than mushrooms and psychedelics and what I bring to the table nonetheless. But I just want to delve into that aspect of, you know, how I became English. And then we go backwards, because also where I started this is, we're going back. I don't know who you are. I do, you know, to some degree, but where you're from and life and how did it get you to here, you know, outside of yoga and stuff. I do want to start with the yoga. I just built that picture to build up these images and, you know, and how you presented. And I'm going to give you my perspective, but I'd just like you to just go into a bit more about your take on yoga, your element, and even the graphics, bro, your flyers and all that type of shit. Like, I've seen how people present this. And then you've gone to the point where you ended your intro with saying, and I've come here to mess it all up. I've come here to bring it, you know, break it down and rebuild it. And that's real powerful. And I felt that when I saw and started checking out your videos and stuff. So just bring me some of that element up to who you are, bro.
Yeah, 100. I'm definitely hands-on creating. You know what I mean? I am a creator, and everything I deal with, all imagery, everything that is affiliated with me, I have either full control of or majority control of. So yeah, all the flyers and all the adverts, all those type of things, it's all me. I have a designer, but he doesn't choose any pictures for me. I put everything together and say, okay, look, I want this picture, I want this image, this is the idea, such and such, and we keep just going back and forth until it's exactly what I want. So I'm just not on there doing the things myself, But when he sends it back to me, I circle this, no, change that, change this, switch this font, no, put this picture there instead. And he's the hands.
All right.
He's the hands behind it. So yeah, that's definitely with the imagery. You know, I'm an artist. I'm an artist like anything else. You know, whether we're talking about yoga, we're talking about training, we're talking about psychedelics, whatever the case. I'm always creating and putting the artwork together. You know what I mean? And you know, we're big children. You know what I mean? We love stories, we love images and such. And you know, I understand that these things appeal to people because you could have a teacher or a practitioner, whatever the case, that has the greatest teaching, their approach, such and such, but then their marketing is completely off. So I'm like, I got to get onto this marketing and invest more time because we're visual people. These things pull us. So marketing is heavy, but yeah, that's there. That's with that. But the yoga journey. I hate talking about yoga. You know what?
And that's interesting you say that, because with everyone else I spoke to, it's like, that's the obvious thing that we know about you. So I want to get that out of the way so then we can delve into the mysteries. So keep it short and sweet, bro. You don't have to go into the details, but just...
Like, yeah, we all know about yoga. We all know yoga. This isn't this. Well, we'll come back around with that. I don't even want to start this with yoga, because it's this whole deifying of yoga, like yoga. Like, I keep talking about this deifying of yoga. You know what I mean? We have to stop deifying yoga. You know, we existed long before yoga. Yoga is just a glimpse. You know, for us to really just define ourselves by yoga. What yoga do you do? How's yoga going to change the world? How's yoga like, nah, like I'm going to change the world. You're going to change the world. The yoga is just a system, a technology that we practice. You know what I mean? All around the world, we've been dealing with systems that incorporate breath and disciplines and such and such and such. Long before yoga, let's be real. We've always been dealing with that. You know, yoga has just been packaged so nice in the Western world that like, oh yeah, we feel like, oh, if we're going on a spiritual path and discipline and enlightenment, it has to be yoga. And everything that is dealing with enlightenment and spirituality and discipline and such, it's yogic. No, I existed before yoga. You existed before yoga. Human beings existed millions of years before yoga. You know what I mean? So let's not just get caught up on this one little place with this little word. You know what I mean? So we'll come back to that.
No, we covered it. That's where I'm gonna go with it. You know, that's like where you're at with it. You know, not what it is, what, you know, because that's what didn't attract me initially. You know, and it took hearing a RebuYogi to feel and resonate with, you know, even if it's all what yoga isn't to you from your perspective, because I felt a lot of what you was saying, but for me, being an outsider, being a neophyte coming in, it's like, it sounded cheeky, cocky. Well, how do you know this? Where is this coming from? It's like, I just know what sits well with me, you know. And like you said, I don't know the names. I can't give you dates and this, that, and the other, but I just know that, just like I didn't think that martial arts started in China, that I don't think, you know, certain cuisines started in certain places. They had a journey. They got to places. There was exchanges and stuff. I'm aware that you hold some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge, and I would like to think that over the weeks we can explore the history of yoga and all of those things there. But I really want to start today with you, with just who you are, what you're bringing to the table, and I do know yoga plays a big part. So it was just good to get that glimpse, that gleam of your perspective on yoga. As soon as your hands started moving and the energy started flowing, I'm like, these are the conversations that I'm used to having with you. But let's not go there just yet. Let's not go there just yet, for real, bro.
Yeah.
What I do want to say is that we've connected in London, in the UK. You know, I can hear an accent. You know, what I've gathered is that most of the people that I've spoken to are not native to the land that they're standing on. You know, even if it was, you know, it was born elsewhere, they was primarily raised in the UK and went back home, came back. And you're the first. I've spoken to a lot of people from the continent of Africa. You know, from different places, and just that experience in growing up somewhere, being in a new place, coming to the UK, that type of energy, that kind of vibe, and your inspirations from being wherever you are to where you are now, and sharing some highlights of that journey. So, where are you from, bro? Because I hear the accent and stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Montserrat.
Where's Montserrat for the people who are not too up on the maps?
It's in the Caribbean. It's one of the Leeward Islands. You know what I mean? So on the map, for those that are familiar with like Virgin Islands, Antigua, you know, Montserrat is the Montserrat is in that little dot of islands going like closer, leading towards more towards South America. You know what I mean? But yeah, from Montserrat, volcanic island with an active volcano. You know what I mean? I was born there, went to the States early. So I grew up in the States in Miami. You know, so I started school in the States. And yeah, grew up in Miami. Grew up in I guess first part of my life was Hialeah, more of a Spanish area, you know. And from there, I guess the second part, like, we were more towards like maybe 14, 15, something like that, and then moving to a different part. And moving to Miami Gardens, and then later on Carroll City, which is more of a it's a different hood. I'll just call it a hood. It's a hood. It's more predominantly a black area. You know what I mean? It's black people. So I went from Spanish area to just black area. And yeah, that's definitely been a colorful part of my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. The hood is different. The hood is different. So just painting the picture, I would be early morning, 7 o'clock, sometimes sunrise, 6 o'clock. I'll be out there going to do my yoga, and yeah, craziness is going on. From people selling drugs, people getting stabbed up, you know what I mean? Shots ringing off, it's the hood, you know what I mean? So I really built up a discipline of my yoga practice in this chaos, you know what I mean? So,
I like that, man. Just to jump in there still, I was taught that you know, true meditation isn't done in peace and silence, and you know, aims to attain that. It's like meditation is when you can meditate, like when there's war going on outside of you, and you know, once you've reached a certain, you know, you're reaching, aspiring to. So I definitely feel that in the hood, man. There's loads of distractions, and if you can maintain your discipline through all of that, you're making progress, man.
Yeah, let's be real. Our understanding and our approach to meditation and yoga is just fluffy, kumbaya, Care Bear story out the clouds. It's like, it's corny, man. It's corny, like, you know what I mean? It's like, look what we have come to. Like, if people don't enter a class, and there's music playing, there's chime playing, there's water running in the back. You know what I mean? You're greeted with namaste. You know, the teacher passes by you and rubs some lavender on your third eye.
Spirit spray.
It's not given to you like this. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? This is crap. This is not what I paid for. This is not what I got. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's not about none of that. You know what I mean? Meditation really and truly is being able to go in wherever you are. Go in and like really just rechannel your surroundings and like know that, okay, I'm not going to allow these external forces to shift my internal energy. Wherever you are, you know what I mean? I don't have to be sit down in this pose or in shavasana or this and this. I don't have to do any poses. You know what I mean? It's just me entering the mind. I could do a walking meditation. You know what I mean? I could walk and enter my zone there. So it's like it's very different from the cookie cutter and mainstream modern yoga world that we practice now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, we do some unorthodox things in the initiation. You know, when it comes to meditation. So those that want to come through and want to learn, want to get initiated, want to become a Smai-Tawi Yoga teacher, hey, come through this initiation. I guarantee you, it's nothing like you ever thought. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I guess that's birthed out of these experiences and from being born, raised, learning and studying in an environment that isn't a traditional, you know, 2.4 household environment, with a garden, this, that, and the other. What you go through comes out and manifests through the work that you do and how you deliver that, I guess. So I still would like to just know more about that. In fact, Montserrat, because again, you know, Montserrat, volcano, you know, I think of history. I can't remember exactly how many years ago, but you said the volcano's active. I believe it erupted. Was you around at that time? How did that?
You know, we already left. We already left we'd have left when it really exploded. When it, you know, it was a big explosion. You can't quote me on the years, but I don't know, maybe it was early '90s. It was. I'm not sure it probably was close to the time that Hurricane Hugo. For those that are familiar, Hurricane Hugo was causing wreck in the Caribbean. You know what I mean? Hurricane Hugo was a big Category 5 hurricane in the early '90s that just wiped out a lot of people, really killed a lot of people, such and such. You know, so it was around that time. So it was like, for what I know, this is me thinking back to, you know, being a young child, 5, 6 years old or whatever the case. So I probably have a complete different story than my mother explained or whatever the case. But as far as what I know, there's two real close natural disasters around the time. So we had either the hurricane and then the volcano blew up, or either the volcano blew up and the hurricane, one or the other. But it was real close together. And when the volcano blew up, you know, it would blow up here and there, such and such, but not really a big thing. But this one was a massive, just eruption, you know, where just lava was just pouring from the sky. Just imagine like looking up in the sky and then like lava just falling on your face, just burning the shit out, killing people left and right, like something out of a movie. So a lot of lives were lost. A lot of lives were lost, and those particular people that survived, that didn't have no other homes and such, you know, the Queen ended up taking care of them. So I know majority, we left the islands before that happened. You know what I mean? Because of my father. That's a whole different story. Coming from Niger, it's a whole different story. But we left early. But those people that stayed there, the Queen, since Montserrat is owned by the Queen. You know what I mean? Whatever the little exact wording is, it. She owns the shit. She sent off the rest of the people over here. So like my grandfather traveled safe. He just passed like 2-3 weeks ago. He was living in Bradford, so you got a lot of Montserratians in, well, I know in Hackney over here and Bradford, you know, few hours north. You know, so that's that with the whole natural disaster stuff. You know, what the Montserratian people like, and regular island folk. You know what I mean? Regular island folk ain't no different. You know, can't say like, oh, Montserratian people went on for this. Maybe we into more soca and calypso and like our festivals heavily.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
hey, that crosses over, man. That crosses over. Yeah.
yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you, bro, do you know of, because it's just come to mind now, you know, you said there's a volcano there, you know, it's been active. You grew up with not being knowing and aware of this volcano being on the island. How old was you when you left the island? Just to remind me.
I gotta say it's like 4 or 5.
Okay, so you may not remember then. Do you remember then or post being on Montserrat, revisiting, going back, or people that are still there, any mythologies or anything associated with the volcano? I'm saying that simply because I know in like Hawaiian mythology, certain mythologies, the regions, you know, their sacred mountains, volcanoes and things are, you know, sacred to them. They have stories or myths associated with them. I wanted to know, growing up, did you hear any stories about the volcano? Was anything, like
No. You know what? Growing up, I was always connected to the volcano. It's deep, you know. Even though I didn't grow up on the island, like volcano, fire, like all that type of stuff. We're like really connected to me heavily, you know. Until later on when I started getting into astrology and stuff like that. Probably maybe at the age of 15 or 16 or something, like I started realizing, okay, I'm Leo. Oh, that's my sun sign. Oh, fire element, this and this. And I just started seeing all these different connections. And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense why I would always get in trouble lighting fires in the corner and disappear. Like, talk to my mom. And she, like, I was a fire starter. When she couldn't find me, I was too quiet. Probably off starting the fire. So.
Hide all the matches, yeah?
Yeah, man. So, but no, really and truly, like, someone that would know stuff like that is like my grandmother. My grandmother would have those stories, and she passed. She passed like 2 weeks ago. Travel safe. But my grandmother she's more of a biblical woman, you know what I mean? So the stories that she used to tell me were more biblical, you know, she's a very religious woman. She didn't want to get into any she wouldn't tell me no stories about no other folk tales around the island or any stories about any jumbies and stuff like that. She wouldn't get into it like that.
About what, sorry?
Jumbies, and they like spirits.
Okay.
Spirits or the Jamaican people always call them duppies, right?
Yeah.
Duppies or jinns or malevolent beings or you know, all these type of things.
Now it's funny because I've spoken with a sister from Ghana, I've spoken with a brother from Nigeria, you know, and some people from the Caribbean. And what was interesting was that we had all, well, not we, but as in the family, those members of the family that had made, you know, that were originally from back home, were all raised in these very strict religious households, let's say, yeah, very extreme to some degree, you know, nothing outside of that, like you said, nothing outside of that. And with that said, though, what they all acknowledged was that somewhere in their lines, somewhere in their history, or in some cases, very often, those same family members would go and seek information and wisdom from their elders who were more in tune with the original customs of the land. So although they were Muslim, although they were, you know, Christian, the parents or the grandparents would still go see the Babalawo every now and then to go and do certain work for some reason or another that maybe the church or the imam wouldn't be able to facilitate. And they never lost that connection with that source to the indigenous practices of that, you know, of that region. Do you know of the indigenous practices on the island? You know, because everyone's got their traditions that got suppressed.
No. I don't know about any indigenous things. It was very much masked or closed.
Yeah,
you know,
some of that stuff even.
To the point that it wasn't even spoken of. Like really and truly, when we're talking about more indigenous things like that, my mother didn't deal with that. Like, you know, there'll be certain things here and there, like I don't know, like throwing salt over the shoulder, putting salt at the door in the corner, or like certain things that mother would do here and there that I know it doesn't come from religion, but it's just But she can't even say like where she got that from. But really and truly, no, we didn't. We're heavily religious. There was no talks of like, oh, what happened before that, such and such. Even dealing with my pops, really and truly, you know what I mean? From what I remember, he didn't talk about any of the more. He didn't talk about more the indigenous spiritual practices of his tribe. You know what I'm saying? Obviously from Niger, so you know he's the Igbo, but he never did. Don't ask me anything about Nigeria. I don't know nothing. I've never been there, so let's just wipe that off quick. Okay.
All right, let me ask you then, just really, have you had curiosity, interest? Have you then since looked into that, or you're just like, boy, I just
looked into what?
Into well, initially I was thinking about Montserrat, you know, just the traditions there, even though it may not have come from your family directly as far as what they're engaging, but you go to places and you find out, there's these traditions, there's these men who live in the bush, there's these men who do this, and they get up to some stuff. Right. That's the, you know.
I'm a journeyman. Yeah. I'm a journeyman. I got into all that. I delve into all that, you know, really and truly, and there was a particular time that I was you know, me and my father have like a real estranged relationship. I don't have a relationship with him really. Like, you know, it was a very chaotic relationship when we had one. But then from like the age of like 14 to 15, well, that was our last point of real contact. I was like 14, 15. So even when I was growing older and stuff like that, I was always on a search. I was always a head that was always interested in spirituality, in spirit, you know what I mean? Even back then when it was just religion, I was always interested in it heavily, you know what I mean? When I talk about my pops came over here from Nigeria. He was already a grown ass man, you know what I mean? You're talking about, I don't know, maybe he was 32, 33 years old. Right. You know, by the time he got to Miami, so he was already set in his ways, such and such, you know what I mean? moved a certain way. And he was very headstrong on allowing us to integrate seamlessly into America. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is like, you know, yeah, he just it's fair enough to say like he just wanted us to be like real Americanized. You know what I mean? He didn't want us to stand out. He didn't want us to be these African people coming over to America and like be looked at a certain way or such and such. He wanted us to just really just integrate to the American world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wanted. So he didn't teach us particular things. He didn't even teach us the language and such and whatever the case. But then in the house, there was a big separation. Like he wanted us to integrate with the Americans, but he didn't want me to become an American. It sounds really weird. You know what I mean? So he always made those differences like remember, you're not one of these black Americans, not one of these black Americans. Don't hang around with them. Da, 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 da. And it was always like, you know, I was always getting into a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So it was like it was just torn worlds constantly growing up. Like, okay, I'm here, I'm in America, but now if I start hanging with other people that he classified black Americans, I get in trouble or I get my ass kicked and shit like that. So, you know, but I'm in the Spanish area at the time, so who else I can hang with? Oh, I can't hang with no one else. So childhood was wild. It was he come from like a boarding school and shit like that, you know, very militant. So my childhood was very militant. You know, we had a schedule that we followed from like, I don't know, age of 7, 8 years old or something. I can remember just when I get home from school, boom, do this from 4:30 to 6:30, do this from 6:30 to 7, do this from extra study period from 7:30 to 8, you know, chores from 8 to 9, additional study period from 9 to 10, lights out 10 o'clock, no video games, no nothing. Video games allowed on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. After that, you're back following the schedule. You know what I mean? Monday through. This was me. So hence it's a gift and a curse. So a lot of those things allow me to like focus myself right now. You know what I mean? And I operate off a particular order. And a lot of times I have to pull myself out of that order and just be like, yo, let me just do what I feel. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was it's different. It's different. It was like a camp. Childhood was like a camp. You know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, we're going to play. It was knock on the door. Oh, Kenobi, come outside. No. You know, no. Obi is the name I was given by my parents. That's my Nigerian name. You know what I'm saying? Obi Udoye. So
two things come to mind straight away. You know, just to share, is there any synchronicity with Obi, as in Obi divination that comes out of the Nigerian? Is there any connection with that? And Obi-Wan Kenobi, that just, you know, like, well, you ever looked into that? What's that about, bro?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I hate the reference to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
I absolutely hate it. And for all you fuckers out there that kept on calling me that shit when I was a little kid, man, fuck you, man. Okay.
I feel you. But it came up yesterday, which is interesting.
So,
my sister looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi at the moment.
That was hard. I used to hate saying my name like on first day of school. It's like the first day of school was hard. Like standing up, saying your name, saying where you're from. It was like, and children aren't easy. You know what I mean? It was like you get picked on, like and it was back then when it was like, oh, people find out, oh, where's that name from? Africa. Oh, you African booty scratcher, and like you would get called all these names from the African. It wasn't cool to be from anywhere else that is not Miami in Miami. Like